Welcome to a new episode of the Car Dealership podcast, where this time I'm joined by Stefanie van Dijk. Stefanie has been active within the automotive for many years, of which a lot of years within the online automotive space, before that working for a car dealership. She has been coaching and guiding dealers in being more successful online, but also is starting a movement, or has started a movement, I must say, with her own podcast called Power Women in Automotive, giving women within the automotive industry a podium to tell their story and also motivate other women to join our industry. And she has also taken the initiative to launch Drive Together, a platform to enable more diversity within the automotive space. The person who can tell you all about it is our guest in this podcast. So let's head straight into this episode. Hello, Stefanie. Welcome to the Car Dealership podcast.
Thank you for having me, Maarten.
You're very welcome. Great that you're here. So could you tell the audience who is Stefanie van Dijk?
Absolutely. Well, Stefanie van Dijk, working with DCDW already for 8 years in the Netherlands and European-wide. Before starting at DCDW, I worked at a car dealership. About 11 years ago, I entered the automotive for the first time. I got interested immediately. Something triggered me in subjects like the customer journey, and getting in touch with customers, with looking at how to help them further. And after a few years working at the dealership, I got in touch with Paul at a presentation that he was hosting at the BOVAG, the branch organization. He triggered me with something like how at what times are we available for the customer, for example. He asked the question, which dealership is also available for the customer after 5 o'clock in the evening. The dealership where I was working was one of the few that actually were open after 5 o'clock in the evening. And helping the customer in a different way. So that got us started talking about challenges and opportunities that we have within the automotive. So we start working together on the subject improving the online automotive. That's his mission, or our mission at DCDW, of course.
But did he have a vacancy, or did you just go to Paul and said, Paul, I'm going to work for you?
No, actually, no. Yeah, well, Paul always sees opportunities in people. So when we got to talk, and I was actually looking a little bit around because I was a little bit finished at the dealership where I was working, in the meaning that I did a lot of projects over there, um, and I just felt the opportunity that I had to go on. And that's actually the point that we started talking. And I don't believe in coincidence, so I think there was a point that we had to meet somehow, and we got on the same page on a lot of subjects concerning the customer journey, concerning the opportunities that a lot of people, a lot of dealerships still lack to improve. And that's actually, yeah. Then he said, "Okay, let's just see where we're getting, and let's work together on improving that online automotive." And let's start talking, with the customers and see how we can help the mainly Dutch dealers at first ahead, and later on also internationally. So, yeah.
Yeah. So DCDW stands for Digital Car Dealer Workshop.
Yeah.
So what was then your role when you started for the company? Were you giving workshops, or what was your role?
No, actually, we just launched Coldrip in the Netherlands at that point. So the rapid response tool that we're working with, and helping the dealers to get in touch faster with the customers that are online. And I started with some level of account management. So my first big customer was the Toyota, all the Toyota stores in the Netherlands. And then I got to talk to a lot of sales managers, a lot of people, just talking with them about their challenges that they were facing, combining the digital showroom with the physical showroom. Um, and that's when we learned, okay, what are the challenges actually, but also where are the opportunities? Why is it so difficult to get in touch with more people, or even improve the conversations that the sales agents are having with their customers. So yeah, I got a lot of experience in a short time, just talking over and over again with those same sales managers and looking into their own opportunities.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at speed, you had this cold rip who is listening in to conversations, but it's actually not only listening in came later, I believe. It was first that it was all about people filling in a form, that then the system immediately calls the dealership and then sends the dealership to the customer, so that the customer has the dealership on the line within a few minutes after filling in the form. So often they are still on the website looking at the car and they already have somebody on the phone. Uh, so that was the beginning, but now it actually evolved to also, I believe, coaching. Like it listens in, gives you insights in how your conversation went. Can you tell a bit about how it was then and how it has changed to what it is now?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the first thing that Coldwell worked on was speeding up the connection with the customer. So, getting the sales agents to talk to the customer at the moment that the customer is still online. So the customer fills in a form. Coldrip sets up a connection with the sales agent and asks the sales agent, "Okay, do you want to call the customer right now?" And specifically, most of the time within 30 seconds to a minute, a customer actually talks to the sales agent, and the agent is able to say, "Hey, hello, I saw you're interested in one of our cars, or you were in our digital showroom. Can I invite you to come over to the physical showroom?" So that was, of course, the first thing that they could make an effort in and improve the results. But then we started to notice that we were able to record those calls that the sales agents were having with the customer. And then we noticed that there were a lot of things that people were saying on the phone that they were not helping themselves get the customer to come over. So, for example, if a sales agent is talking to a lot of customers that are living a, a little further away, so for example, 1 2 hours away drive, then the sales agent often starts the conversation with, "Hey, I see you're far away from here, or you have a long drive to go to come over here," and then they already start to give the customer the objections that they can have not to get into the car and come to the showroom. So we started working on those conversation and talking and coaching also with the sales agent on location and also online, by telling them how to handle those objections, and to sell actually the appointment. So not selling the car on the phone, but selling the appointment. Why should the customer come over to the showroom? What's the benefit for them to come over?
So if you look at that, so it's quite interesting. So we were saying that DCDW stands for Digital Car Dealer Workshop. So let's give a little workshop to the audience. How can you sell the appointment?
But the customer is living far away.
Mhm. How do you do it? What are your tips?
Well, one of the things we're saying, as I said, you always have to mention the benefit for the customer to come over because, for example, a trade-in request they can get everywhere. So they can go to three different websites and ask for a trade-in request based on the mileage they're driving and their license plate registration. But we all know that's only, yeah, it's not a specific amount that you can tell them. So you have to see the car live to actually get a good quotation to the customer. So we always tell them, okay, tell the benefit for the customer to come over. So if you want my best proposal, my best quotation, or if you want the best price, come over. We'll take a look at your car and we'll give you the best proposal that we can give you. And in the meantime, the fun thing is we have the car that you're interested in right here. So you can go and test drive the car, experience it yourself. And don't forget the car is still emotion. It's an emotional buy. If you emphasize that to the customer, they are more eager to come over as long as they understand there's a benefit for them in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah. No, but if you look at it's actually interesting thing that you mentioned with trade-in values. So we see two type of dealers when we talk to dealers. Some say when somebody is a trade-in, we give a value immediately. We don't need to see the car. We don't need to talk to the customer. Poof, here you've got the estimated value, and they will state to give you an exact value. You will need to come by. But some dealers say no, no, no. I want to be able to get the details of the customer, and then we can actually explain why we come to a certain value, or we could actually indeed invite them over so that we can see the car and give a value. But what is the best way according to you?
The problem with the first step that you're mentioning is that there's a danger in that, because if the customer is going online and he's asking the same question to three dealers and they get an estimated value, often they don't realize it's an estimation. So if they're sitting on their kitchen table and they're looking at all the quotations that they often make a decision price based. And I think in this time, and I think most car-minded people know that it's often not about the price, but it's more about the fact that you are willing to give me the order to actually sell the car, to buy the car from me. So it's more about the relations than about the price. And as soon as you give them the price already ahead, they are going to make a decision based on price. And I think that's not the way that we should sell cars in these days. And you can also do that by distance. There are also a lot of sales agents that are very clever, and they say, okay, you live quite a drive away from here. Let's just schedule a video call so I can explain the estimated value I already gave you. And that's also a possibility, but you have to make the connection with the customer and make sure that they're not only making the decision based on price.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, but indeed, what I learned throughout my career, also when getting lessons in sales, is that if you give an offer, it's also the moment that the buyer has what they want and they don't need you anymore. They already have their offer. So it's you also lose control as a sales consultant. So if you're selling something, it's also good to see, okay, what could the process be so that I'm in control of the conversation, and that I actually likely would sell this car to the buyer. So
But
it's very
often we
comparable.
forget that. And actually, what you're saying is quite correct, because why is the customer coming to us? Because in the end, nowadays they can find every single point of information that they need. They can find online. So in theory, they won't need us at all as sales agents. But still, it's a matter of trust. Do they trust you or the brand or the company you're working for? And they want to know that they're talking to the expert, and they have maybe a big bag of money, or they have to make a financial lease or a private lease or anything. Anyway, it's costing a lot of money to buy or lease a new car, and they want to talk with a trustworthy person. And you only do that when you have the connection with the customer, and actually not based on price.
I know. Yeah, and very often, I believe also definitely with cars that are in stock, it's not always the salesperson why you buy the car. It's because that dealer is the only one with that car. And so I had it with my private car. We bought a family car. We had three kids. So the youngest is now 2.5 years old. But when he came, we bought a car, terrible car, constantly broke down. So we then bought another one. Um, wasn't a nice experience, but I did buy the car because that was the car with the right color combination for the right for the right price. So you're also sometimes limited. You just buy what is available, and but they're also the dealer with the best process. If there are two cars, I would buy the car from the one who is quick at following up, who would invite me, etc. So, but it's I think sometimes we underestimate how powerful it is to have a car in stock and the right car in stock, but then treat your customers in the right way as well.
Yeah, and still, I also have the examples of customers driving a long way and driving by a lot of dealers for actually a new car. I had an example for a customer who was looking for a brand new Mercedes, and I won't mention the name, the places where they were living, because then you immediately know what dealer I'm talking about. But they actually drove 1.5 hours to buy a brand new Mercedes at a dealer store, and they passed by about 4 other stores. And then you're thinking, okay, but you have a Mercedes dealer around the corner. Why didn't you buy the dealer over there? And I said, yeah, we didn't get their response at all. We asked for a quotation, we put in a lead in the system, and that we just didn't have a response at all. So this specific dealer where we were buying the car, they responded immediately the same day that we asked for some information, and that was the thing for us to get into the car and go over there and buy the car. So there you see again how important that extra step is that we're taking into the relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But if I look at you, Stephanie, because we know each other also quite some years now, but you're not only doing this, you do also some other things. And one of the things, I think the right way to phrase it is that you are building a movement. And one of the movements that you do is the Power Women in Automotive podcast. Um, what is it really about? What are you doing with that platform?
Well, a few years ago, I got interested in why we weren't able to get more women involved in the automotive. And then I asked a question to Paul. Actually, we had a conversation about this, and by now I know I don't want to tell something like that again, because his obvious answer is always okay. But if it's not there, then make it happen. So and then I thought, okay, why me? But then again, I was at the Women Automotive Network in convention in Stuttgart a few years ago, and then they talked about the necessity of role models. So they were also talking about the subject, attracting more women to the automotive, not because only they're women, but also we just have a shortage in staff. Everybody is lacking staff at the moment. And the pool of women obviously is still big, but somehow we cannot reach them, or we are not attractive enough as industry for them. And then we got the conversation going in Stuttgart on what's the reason for that. And one of the reasons they mentioned was that there aren't just not enough role models. Women are always looking up for role models, looking at, okay, it's still a male-dominated industry, and that's also it sounds negative. I don't mean it in a negative way, but um, um, it, every woman working in automotive says, okay, you have to be a specific kind of woman to be able to work here, and I don't actually agree, but I do agree that on the outside we still have a reputation. And that reputation makes sure that a lot of women are a little bit afraid of entering the industry. So when they talked about providing role models and being a role model yourself, I thought, okay, there has to be a way. How can we make those role models visible? So that's when the idea started with starting a podcast. And I thought, okay, I'm going to ask a few role models from the industry just to talk about leadership, to talk about their own career, the hesitations that they have, the benefits also that they have, because you also have a few benefits as a woman in automotive. I absolutely agree with that. So that's when it started actually talking about more about these subjects, and something happened, because we got a lot of positive reactions on this. So we started working on it, and we're already having that podcast for 2.5 years now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great, great. I think it's really good that you do that. And of course, indeed, automotive is male dominated. It's just a fact, but hopefully it's changing. And transformation requires a different perspective, and giving actually role models a chance to tell their story could change the narrative. So that's good. But what if you had all those conversations? What surprised you most from the conversations?
With the other role models, with women,
Mm?
you mean?
Yeah, yeah, with the role models that you
Well,
invited.
actually, The fact that women themselves are not the most supportive towards each other. Actually, and this is just yeah, and it's easy to start the conversation and say, "Hey, the men are not helping us, or and they're not promoting us, or whatever." But we need to help ourselves also, and the way we present ourselves, I think that we can do a lot better. Um, and then again, also the what also stood out was the importance of mentorship or maybe sponsorship, because mentorship is okay. I will tell you, for example, if you are my mentor, you would tell me how I should do better. If you are my sponsor, then you're also getting me in touch with people who can help me further, who I can learn something from. And also that fact, kind of sponsorship, I think that is really, really important. And all those women mentioned they had somebody who took the role as some kind of a sponsor just to help them get ahead. And I think that's really, really important in these days specifically, and even more for women.
Hey, before we hop back into this conversation with Martin, imagine an AI communication layer seamlessly connected to your dealership systems. One intelligent platform that gives both your customers and your team instant access to the right information at the right time. Well, that's Novaco, short for the Nova Company. At its heart is Nova, the AI model behind it all, inspired by the Nova Star. Bright when needed, invisible when not, just like a good assistant. On your website, Nova appears as the orb, a glowing, breathing chat bubble that invites customers to ask anything, anytime. But Nova is more than a website assistant. You see, with Nova Companion, she supports your team internally, answering questions using brochures, price lists, stock data, and more. Just instant answers for your team, saving them time and helping them focus on the customer. And with Nova Messaging, she connects with customers on WhatsApp and other channels, managing service updates, follow-ups, and appointment reminders, all in one professional flow. It's pretty cool. And yes, Nova Voice is coming soon, bringing the same intelligence to your phone system and completing the omni-channel experience. You see, customer communication is evolving, but with Novaco, you're not just adapting, you're setting the pace. Find out more at novaco.ai, that's Novaco.ai, and experience what's next. All right, let's get back to Martin.
If you look at the podcast, you've been doing that 2.5 years. Now you also have a new initiative, Drive Together. I think it's on the wall behind you. I think it's not just an initiative, but indeed a movement to change the industry. When I talk to you and what your ambitions are, talking about themes like collaboration instead of silos, inclusion, future-proofing the automotive. So I think that the industry needs to evolve not only technologically but culturally, and that's what it's all about. But what is Drive Together really trying to change?
We're trying to change the perspective. Actually, we're talking a lot also on the automotive events about tooling, about AI. Of course, is the buzzword everywhere at the moment. But in the end, we're still talking about people. And if you're not helping the human capital or trying to save the human capital, you're not getting anywhere. Tooling is great, AI is great, but in the end, there are things that tooling and AI cannot do, and you need people for that. Maybe in a different way, not in the way we used to work. So we can work in different ways, but we still need the people along. And I see there is a big gap between the improvements we actually want to make. We want to speed up and improve the industry, but we forget to take on the people. And that's actually what we're talking about also with Drive Together. As I said, I'm part of the Women Automotive Network as well. I believe in that group. It's great to be in a room full of women inspired to actually bring something to the table. But I also believe that we should have the conversation together, men and women. Because if we're only talking with one group, we're not improving the industry. We're looking at solutions, but we're not taking it into practice. And we need both men and women on the table to be able to talk about solutions. And not only because we want diversity or inclusivity, because those are difficult words in our industry to use. Nobody wants to use them. Nobody wants to be associated with them. Also, not women, by the way. Um, they're nowadays they're a little bit dirty words somehow. But it's about perspective and it's about business success. We need different perspectives to be successfully business wise. The customer has changed. The way they get in touch with us has changed. What people want from us has changed. So the whole business is changing, is evolving. And I think also our workforce should be changing and evolving with that as well. And I don't see that happening enough yet. So I think we need the movement to get some different conversations to the table.
So next month you will have an event,
Yeah.
Drive Together event. Could you
Yeah.
tell what will you do at the event? What will it look like?
Well, it's actually a very activating event. One of my main problems with the most events is that we're coming in. I'm talking to 1, 2, 3 people that I actually really know very well. I'm listening to some presentations, and then I go home and okay, I've been there, and that's it. And sometimes I miss the next step in okay, what are you actually taking away from that convention or from that day? And what are you willing to improve? What are you going to do, or what is your company going to do? So I said, okay, I want to organize a different kind of event with more action. So that means we have roundtables where we talk about culture versus behavior in our company. We're also talking in that session about biases that we have and that unconsciously are influencing the way we are working together within the company, and also attracting or not attracting the right people. And we're also having a few workshops. For example, one on quiet quitting. That means that if you have somebody who's leaving you for another job, people are also already mentally checking out upfront, months upfront, before they actually tell you, okay, I'm going to leave. And how are you going to recognize that within your team, and how are you going to make sure you also close the back door? Because we can talk about entering new people into the industry, but if we're not able to close the back door, we're not solving any problem. So those are a few subjects. We're talking about leadership. We're talking about maintaining talent on board, developing talent, but also how to get more people attracted to the industry. So it's a very
it's an
active
event,
day.
but it's an event in Dutch.
Yeah, it's an event in Dutch. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So for the listeners who are interested, where could they go? Is there like a website where they can find information? What should they do?
Absolutely, absolutely. www.drivetogether.nl. We have our event. The event is called Shift Happens, Be the Move. It actually points to the movement you're talking about. So things are changing rapidly at the moment. And I think you have to think about the fact, do you want to be a part of that, or do you want to be on the side? So Shift Happens, Be the Move. At our website, you can enter for the program and of course the tickets as well. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Well, let's hope that people listening would have a look at the website and join the event. So what we're talking about, you also explained it, that there are many tools out there, but that it's still humans doing the business and making the difference. So the real problem is, of course, culture versus technology. I think what I hear you talking, you actually mentioned that technology is not really the blocker. There's a lot of technology, but mindset is a blocker. How can you change somebody's mindset? So if you look at digital initiatives in the dealership, why do so many initiatives fail?
Because we fail to take on the people with it. A lot of initiatives, a lot of tooling is the management is enthusiastic. They think, yeah, we have to have that because management. I never have to convince management to have more insights. If I say, okay, I can provide you with more insights, management is always happy. But if we get to take along the people who have to work with it, and I think that's a very important step that's forgotten a lot of the time. So all those initiatives, great, but I always give them the advice: talk to your people on the floor as well. What do you need to improve your work? What do you need to be more successful, or what do you need to be able to grow into a different role, for example? And they don't have that conversation enough. We're only running during the day. We're coming in the morning, um, um, uh, lacking some hold on the agenda of the day, it being lived all through the day, and at the end of the day, we're happy we made it again, and I can go home and we'll see it again tomorrow. And I think that's the biggest problem that we have right now. Sometimes you have to stop and just ask the question: How are you actually doing? What do you need? What do you want? What can I help you with? And I think if we have more of those kind of conversations, eventually we will be more successful. But you also see that, for example, in the AI, as read a few researches on working with AI within the company, for example. Right now within DCDW, that's great, and that's a vision of Paul as well. We are able to try an AI tool and working with it for 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, we get together in a meeting and talk about the benefits of that specific AI tool and why we should or should not use it. And I think that's the way we have to work. You have to take it into practice. You have to see what we actually need. What is it bringing you? And then afterwards, you're making the decision, okay, this is the way we want to work with it. And this way, we're going to implement it within the company. And I think that's the best way to actually come to the best improvements.
It's actually quite interesting if you look at what you're saying, because you're talking about AI now. That's all about efficiency. It's about automation. But you're also talking about Drive Together, which is all about human collaboration. So there's a bit of tension between the two. So will AI reduce or increase the human aspect?
I think it will improve the human aspects. So it's just a different way of work. Well, it saves up time. You can automate all the things that are coming back every day or every week, so we can make it easier. But still, we need the human connection, the human mind. The brain is capable of so much more than AI can ever do. It's eventually still a computer, and I think we need the human creativity and the human mind to actually improve the connection with the customer, for example, to improve our business. But I am convinced that AI is helping us to improve faster. So I don't think it's either this or either that, but it's a collaboration between the two which makes us better in the end.
So, and what should remain human? And another way to phrase it, what should never be automated?
Good question. Good question. As I said, what should be automated is everything that is coming back over and over again. So even if we're talking, looking at the work that we do at DCDW, the lead follow up, there are certain things that we can actually automate through systems, or we can provide systems that actually are able to. Now, for example, I don't have to tell you, but scheduling workshop appointments, for example, there are loads of people that can work with AI on that matter. But we always have to have the human connection available in the back end. So if people are choosing not to want to use that way that we think that will work for everybody, people have to be able to choose also the human connection, because specifically in a world that is digitalizing in with a speed that we see right now, and we have experienced both the age before the digitalization, but it's going so fast right now. We also, I think, you are still a winner if you can still maintain the human connection on the points where it's important.
Yeah, I agree. But it's also difficult for a dealer, and I think many dealers might be struggling with that to think about, okay, how can I combine efficiency with a genuine customer connection, and so what is the right balance? But if do you have any advice on it if somebody is struggling about it?
Well, it's also a trial and error. Everybody's looking at the Chinese market, for example. Why are they so developing so fast? Because they try fast, fix fast. So they're trying a lot of things, and if it's not working, okay, skip it and go to the next. And I know that this is easy talking from the sideline right now, because if you're actually having a dealership and you cannot just implement all the tools and stop with it again, and that's not possible. But talk to your people, talk to the people who are working, your customers. Ask them, okay, what do you need? What are your objections? What is making your work difficult? And are there ways we can think of together that we can solve that? And I think a lot of those knowledge we already have inside of the company, but we forget to ask the people. And as I said, most of the time it's a management party when you're looking at choosing what tools are we going to work with, or what processes do we have to develop. But I think we have to talk more and more to people who are working on the actually on the floor with our customers, and asking them what they need to be more successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen and ask questions, listen and act. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and ahead, looking at the future of automotive culture, and not just automotive retail, but looking at the future of the culture. What kind of industry do you hope to see in 5 years?
Um, I, I I hope to see an industry being alive still, an industry that is more open to conversation from different perspectives. And I don't mean just a gender discussion, so it's not just male, female, but also we're working together with the different generations, for example, on the work floor, and embracing the young people who are coming in with young energy and maybe different perspectives than we were used to, passing the sayings that, yeah, we're already doing this for 20 years like this, and it's always worked for me. On the other hand, we also have to embrace the experience that we already also have within the industry. So it's not a matter of this is better, or that is better, or this generation is better than the other one. But I'm hoping in about 5 years we are finding a way to work together with the generations in the best way possible, and improving altogether. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, let's see in 5 years where it's headed. I think it's very interesting and a lot of things going on. And I think also you're doing a great job with your initiatives and your movement. So it was great that you are also sharing your perspective in this podcast for an international audience. And thank you very much for participating.
Thank you so much for having me, Maarten. It was great talking to you today.
Yeah, and I won't be at the event, unfortunately, because it's a holiday week in Belgium, and so we are also sponsoring you, and very happy to do so. So I would have loved to be there, but I wish you, of course, a great event, and we'll make sure that the podcast lands before the event, so people can listen to it and hopefully visit it. And all the best there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.